What's going on, everybody? My name is Bear. My real name is Barrett. The reason why people call me Bear is because it was my mom's idea. So she said, what can I call this boy? How can I call him Bear? We're going to name him Barrett. The reason why you care about this channel: 1, you're into game dev. 2, you're into entrepreneurship. 3, you have some kind of dream that you're pursuing, just like we're pursuing our dream, and you want to follow along. 4, you're just here for a good time. I love it. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to be looking over here, and that's because I've got a little bit of an outline to help guide me in this first video. And so to introduce myself, I'm one of the co-founders. There's 2 other ones, Rob and Sam. They're not here today. They're going to be here eventually, someday in the future, some future video. So I'm going to be speaking for myself for the most part. So who am I? I am a front-end engineer and graduated from an in-person dev boot camp. And so I'm a front-end engineer turned game developer. And so that's a little bit about me. Why did I start Elevon Studios? So Elevon Studios is a video game studio. And the reason why I started it is because I've always wanted to make games, but always thought it was too risky. I should go the safer route. I should get a 9-to-5. I should do the thingy that's super safe. Find the most in-demand jobs, get that skill set, follow that path. But something shifted for me this year. And so I think I'll start back with how it started in me, the desire to make a game studio, and then recently what made me finally take the plunge. So when I was younger, my mom was very sick. She passed away when I was 16. And she had an autoimmune disease. From 10 to 16, she was on this ever fading path, less and less available. Not because she didn't want to be, but because if you've ever been around somebody who's had chemotherapy or has had that level of sickness, they just don't have the strength to show up, but they do their best. So I'm watching my mom slowly fade as an 11-year-old or 12-year-old thinking about life. I had a PS1. I had an older brother who was 9 years older than me, so I had access to video games that I couldn't afford. I ended up with a used copy of Final Fantasy IX for the PS1. And in that story, so this is a moment where it became real for me. In that story, there's a character, and she's a female character, and she's leaving her friends, and there's the feeling of finality to it. She's not going to be able to go back to see her friends again. This is her final goodbye. And her friend, one of them, says to her, "Hey, remember us in a way that makes your heart light. Don't let our memory be a burden to you." And it clicked. And I was like, this is talking to me about my mom. And obviously the game wasn't literally talking to me about my mom, but in that moment, it just like clicked into place. And I realized that that's how I should handle this grieving process. I should remember the good things and totally go through the grief, but as time passes, focus on the positive. Remember her in a way that makes me smile. In that moment, video games became more than just entertainment for me. It became something that I realized it had primed me to make good choices, to look at the future with hope and joy and peace and eager anticipation instead of like this broken, sad thing. And I thought to myself, that's the kind of stories that I want to tell. I'm getting emotional. So anyways, that is why I started Elevon Studios, is I want to tell stories that prime people to have courage and to start that business or ask that girl out or ask that boy out or do the thing. That's the heart of it. And the other piece of it too is just fun for fun's sake. I think that it matters sometimes to just have easy levels of fun. I apologize if you hear my kids in the background. I'm trying to do this in one take, but also having fun for fun's sake is very valid. And so that's another piece of it too. So that's why I started Elevon Studios. Now, why did I start it now instead of when I was younger? Well, when I was younger, I let influential people in my life talk me out of taking risk. And so I actually I was going to make video games, and I went to an art school to go look at 3D programming and stuff, and backed out because I let people talk me out of it and that I should take a safer path. And years go by and this thing just won't leave. And so, geez, I watch a YouTube short of Jim Carrey talking about his dad. His dad worked a job for 40 years, took the safe path, avoided his passion of comedy. This is Jim Carrey's dad. Avoided the path of comedy and just took the safe path. And then like a couple of years before he could retire and get his pension, he was fired. And so that spurred Jim Carrey to pursue and take risk because he realized there was no safety in a 9-to-5. And that just hit me. And I've had 3 kids now. And every time I've had kids, there's always a wave of layoffs after. It's like 10, 15 people get laid off at the place that I work. And somehow I get caught in the crossfire. And it's, it was COVID. And then if it wasn't COVID, it was recession. If it wasn't, it's just all these things. And so I decided that this is the year I'm going to take a risk. I'd always told myself once I had X amount of dollars saved up, then I'll take a risk because I'll have a little safety net. So then I did that, boom, nailed it. And then I doubled that size of that net. And then I almost tripled the size of that net. And no matter how big that nest egg got, that net, the fear of risking it just grew exponentially with it. Because I can't take a risk now. I've got too much money on the line, And so I'm 38 and I've decided that you just have to take the plunge at some point. You just do. You can be young, you can be old, you just got to do it at some point. And so this is my drawing a line in the sand and giving it my best effort, And so it's me and 2 other guys. And so that's my story of why I started Elevon Studios. A little piece on the other 2 guys. I met Sam through a game jam. If you don't know what a game jam is, it's where you have about 10 days or so to make a video game, and you team up with 4 other people, team of 5, make the game, boom, you're done. So that's the first time we made a game, and so out of that came this friendship, and so we both have a similar vision in terms of wanting to make a game studio and things I've discussed. And then Rob, I've known Rob for almost 10 years now, and we've worked on and off on, I've lost count of how many projects Rob and I have worked together on. So he's always wanted to make games as well, so he's jumping on board, and that's what we're doing. Let me give you guys a little sample of what we're making here. So what you're seeing here, sorry if you hear my baby in the background, So what we're making here, what you're looking at is a sample level. This is clearly far from finished, but what we've got is we've got some obstacles. We've got 2 players working, and we've got some item boxes. If you hit these boxes, you get an item. Let's see what item we got. Yeah, a black hole. So I hit V and I shoot what is going to be a black hole. And you can see it pulling my character towards it. He can't really escape it. So then once the black hole disappears, he can move on. But we've got that going. We've got, the same black hole. That's so funny. In our game, you can shoot these projectiles. They're like Unreal icons. If you look up in the top left corner of the screen, you can see them like swirling the other dude. And so they home in on the target, and when they hit the target, they slow it down. Obviously, you won't be blasting them with a swarm of them. You'll have them one at a time. So we got items going. We got multiplayer going. We've got collision across multiple things and all kinds of stuff. But I think this gives you a good little sample of what's to come. And we've got another level that's way farther along in terms of being built. This is just a test level. And then look at these errors. Error. This is just part of game dev. And I'm actually glad you guys are seeing this because I'm probably going to be troubleshooting these later. And that's exactly how it goes. You build a feature, you get a bunch of errors, and then you move on. Cool. And we've got so many windows open. So that's a little sample of our game. So I'm inviting you on our journey. And I hope you'll stick around. I hope you'll support us. There'll be a link to our website in the description, and just click join the journey. So website, join the journey, and there'll be lots of options on how to support us. I would love for you to support us on Patreon. We've got a $1 option. And if you can spare $1 a month, that would be huge. That would be huge because that means that you're supporting our dream, supporting our vision, supporting our games. And I would very much appreciate that. And if you can't afford that, no problem. Totally have been there. What you can do instead is just follow us on social media, answer our questions. And thirdly, if you want to do something today, you can answer this question for me. What is your favorite indie game? Why? Or what is your favorite non-indie game and why? The reason why this helps us is because we're making games and I want to know what people care about. I want to know what gets you excited. Because if we make a game that's magnificent but nobody cares, then we have missed the mark. I want to make games that people actually enjoy and like. And that when you tell me what you like, it helps us figure that out. So that's it for this video today. Please like and subscribe. There'll be more videos coming out. I really appreciate your time and your support. It means the world to me. And follow along on social media for more frequent, smaller, bite-sized updates. I really appreciate it and have a great day.